Colleagues, not even 4 weeks ago, on October 1st, Iran launched nearly 200 ballistic missiles at Israel, with many targeting the country's most populous city, Tel Aviv. This brazen attack had the potential to kill hundreds of civilians, and it very well could have, were it not for the United States military assistance defending Israel at President Biden's direction. In the hours following the barrage, the United States convened G7 leaders, including the leaders of several countries represented here on the Security Council. They agreed there must be serious consequences for Iran, and we have seen those consequences come to bear. The United States issued new sanctions against Iran's oil sector, including the so-called Ghost Fleet, which carries illicit oil products around the world. The United Kingdom and Australia issued new and sweeping sanctions against Iran's missile program. And the European Union, for the first time, sanctioned Iran's civilian airliners, including Iran Air. This coordinated diplomatic effort across multiple jurisdictions reflects a firm international consensus that Iran's aggressive actions against Israel, including in support of its terrorist proxy, Hezbollah in Lebanon, are unacceptable. There's also firm international consensus that Israel has a right to defend itself against Iran's attacks. And that is precisely what Israel did this weekend when it carried out a targeted, proportional, and direct military response against Iran with no reports of civilian harm. Specifically, Israel conducted precision airstrikes against multiple military targets across Iran and outside populated areas. The United States did not participate in this military operation. Rather, we encouraged the government of Israel to shape the operation as it did. Again, a targeted, proportional, and direct response to degrade Iran's ability to threaten its neighbors, deter further attacks, and reduce the risk of further escalation. Today, the United States' message for Israel remains clear. We will always help secure its people and territory from Iran and its terrorist proxies and partners. Our message for Iran remains clear as well. Should it choose to undertake further aggressive acts against Israel or U.S. personnel in the region, there will be severe consequences. We will not hesitate to act in self-defense. Let there be no confusion. The United States does not want to see further escalation. We believe this should be the end of the direct exchange of fire between Israel and Iran. Indeed, Israel has made clear to the world that its response is now complete. And so we again call on Iran to stop its attacks against Israel and rein in its terrorist proxies. And we call on all members of the Security Council with influence to press Iran to stop pouring gasoline on the fire of regional conflict and instead contribute to de-escalation. Know that the United States will continue to do our part to support a diplomatic path in the region, to help bring about an immediate ceasefire with release of hostages, ending the fighting in Gaza, and facilitating the urgent delivery of much-needed humanitarian relief to Palestinian civilians, and to lead an effort to secure through diplomacy the end to the war in Lebanon with an agreement that allows civilians on both sides of the blue line to safely return to their homes. Colleagues, Iran requested this meeting today. Its representative seeks to gaslight and deflect, to claim the role of victim while continuing to sow chaos across the region. And because Russia is increasingly reliant on Iranian weapons to sustain its illegal, unprovoked war of aggression against Ukraine, Iran believes this council will have no choice but to look the other way. That we will not penalize it for flaunting the UN Charter and myriad Security Council resolutions. But Russia's words of support are hollow, given its own actions in Ukraine. We have the collective responsibility to prove Iran wrong, even in the face of obstruction by one member of this council, Russia. We must impose costs for supporting terrorism and undermining international peace and stability. So today, our message must be clear. We will not allow the region's future to be dictated by Tehran and its proxies, whose actions before, on, and since October 7th have put millions of innocent civilians at risk. It is time for de-escalation, for Iran to cease its destabilizing activities, and for us to get these diplomatic deals done. Together we can and we must oppose Iran's malign activities and create a future of peace, dignity, and security for all. Thank you, Madam President.